Hey there, Bando here. Going to talk a little bit about album covers and record album artwork. Um, and I love vinyl records. I love collecting, but it's really important for me that the record company gets the album cover right. You know, I hate a bad album cover. This one right here leads my do's and don'ts list. One do is spell the names right on the record cover. This is Django Reinhardt, a great collection of Django's, and the Hot Club of France band, which included, of course, the man with the violin, as he was known, Stefan Grappelli. Well, he was also the man with his name spelled wrong. The album spells his last name with a Y. It, of course, was spelled with an I, and it's repeated that way throughout these really good liner notes. Unfortunately, I had an English teacher once who said he doesn't mind misspellings on paper so much as long as it's consistent. And he singled me out as saying, you'll spell it right and then wrong and then right and then wrong. So at least this guy was, unlike me, was consistent with it. There's another one of the great performers in the history of jazz music, JellyRoll Morton. This is his music playing right now, actually. This is a horrible record cover, I think, or album cover. It's supposed to be some kind of mint coin or something, but it's teal. And they've got this really stupid little sticker that says classics in jazz, you know. So it doesn't even go with the color scheme is terrible, and I know what this is. Someone as important to the music as JellyRoll Morton should have got a better cover. I like this one. This is a JellyRoll Morton, and it's just an illustration, kind of that style that you would see on a lot of old 40s and 50s jazz albums. This was designed by, on the back it just says, cover designed by Ingrid. So good job, Ingrid, on that. Here's one that's really interesting in a bad way. It's the Grateful Dead. It's a 2-record live stuff. It's a great album. But to me, they don't get the feel of the band with this stupid kind of computer grid, just on the back too. At the time, Gary Hart was running for president when this came out, and you'd see in his campaign he would always have these moving grids in the back, which they were trying to suggest progress and the future. But that's not the Grateful Dead. They should have had a more organic thing, and this photo sucks basically. Here's another rule of mine. I had an art teacher, Mr. Beckenstein. He would say, use the whole canvas. You know, he'd pass out paper. He said, paper is very expensive. Use the whole canvas. Far too much white space on this. This is Sammi Smith doing Help Me Make It Through the Night. Just probably, I think, as good as Janis Joplin's Bobby McGee in terms of a Christofferson cover. Just a beautiful song. But this is terrible. You've got all this white space. And you should have had a bigger and better, more flattering picture of Sammi. The back looks like a ransom note. I don't even know what this is all about. It's crazy. So, you know, this have been much better if Sammi had done what Anna Maria Albberghetti did. Look at that. That's beautiful. That should be, you know, Sammi, help me make it through the night. Sometimes a album cover will kind of reflect the art movements of the time. Or the graphic styles of the time. This was great from late 60s, I believe, from the film Joanna, starring Genevieve Waite in the title role. It's a pretty bad movie, but not quite as bad as the singing or performing of Rod McEwen. That guy, I have no idea how he sold people that, he had like 20, 30 records. He's horrible. But what a striking cover. You know, the hot pink and this black and white thing, and I just think it's really cool. There's not much to listen to on here. The movie's pretty bad too. In a similar way, this was kind of going with that Andy Warhol comic book look. This is the Rascals. We were a great blue-eyed soul band from New York in the '60s. Not a bad cover, but it doesn't really reflect what that band's sound was at all. They weren't this pop art kind of stuff. They were more gritty. Again, I just think it doesn't, in the same way that that Grateful Dead thing didn't work, record cover didn't work, this doesn't work for the Rascals. They were really a great band. I loved it. Good album, good collection though. Sometimes rather than a photo, you go with a painting. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. This is Willie Nelson's Stardust album, and the painting of Stars in the Sky and an Evening Sky is done by Susanna Clark, who was a really good songwriter on her own and in her own right, and a good friend of Willie's. So I'm sure this had extra meaning for him. But that's just beautiful. I'd actually like to have this painting if I could find it somewhere. There's another one. Not sure who the artist is here, but this is just such a great cover. And Todd Rundgren's Something Anything. And I think the idea was kind of like something, anything. And actually, that says it on the back there. I really get that something, anything part, but I love the album is just a classic, and the cover, the artwork, I think is beautiful. Sometimes there's really good artwork, but it doesn't quite work as an album cover. This is Freddie Neal, or collection of Freddie Neal stuff, and some really nice pencil sketching here. Really neat. This one, another kind of folky from the same time, Paul Siebel, who's a friend of mine, similar. But on both of them, it's kind of washed out look. It almost looks like these albums were left out in the sun too long, and they kind of started to fade. So not the kind of thing that as you're flipping through records in a record bin that really grabs your attention so much. Here's one that's near and dear to my heart because for a number of reasons. It's a great record, great music. This band was fronted by a dear friend of mine, and as well as loving the music on here, I love this cover. This is just a great album cover. Chilli Brothers, Empty Bottles. And I like how the title of the album's in the lower right-hand corner, in a lowercase font. Only 2 fonts used, which is kind of a great graphics rule, not to use any more than that. Love the photo on the front, some empty bottles. I think I even had a beer sitting next to this guy once. But a great record, and a great album cover. Now, the name of the album was Empty Bottles. You saw a few empty bottles, which is very cool, play there. Here's one that I think is a little too heavy-handed. The name of this record is Famous Blue Raincoat. It's named after a song by Leonard Cohen, and all of these are Leonard Cohen songs sung by Jennifer Warnes, who's just a really wonderful vocalist. But Famous Blue Raincoat, I don't think you needed to actually have a picture of a blue raincoat, They might as well have put a little tag on the raincoat that says famous. It's a little heavy-handed and a little too literal. I don't think it's necessary. Sometimes, on the other hand, you do have to hit people over the head just to make sure they know what they're buying, what they're looking at. And on this comedy album by the regrettable team of Marty Allen and Steve Rossi, the name of it is Hello There. Not Hello There. That's not their catchphrase. It's Hello There. Hello There. That's what that was their shtick. So just in case you weren't sure of what you were looking at or what record, you know right away this is the guy from the Merv Show who says Hello There. And that's their joke. You pick up the album and you got the right one. Occasionally there's an album that's kind of misleading, maybe even dishonest. This is Frankie Lane, a really great singer from the 50s. I really like Frankie. Here he is with the Queen. He's meeting the royal family or whoever. And it's a command performance. command performance. With the Queen, it looks like, well, this is not a live album. It's kind of like NRBQ at Yankee Stadium, but that at least was tongue-in-cheek and funny. This is a trick. There's no live performance. He's not. Well, you don't hear any Brits in the audience saying "Bravo," anything. It's not happening. The great songs are here, Jezebel and That's My Desire, and Frankie's great tunes. But the Queen, there's no live performance. There's no command performance or live performance. Occasionally, there's an album cover that's requires a bit of thought. This one from a great soundtrack with David Byrne and Celia Cruz and others, to a wonderful film that I love, Something Wild. But you're never sure if you're holding it right side up or upside down, and that was it was designed that way. I think it's great. It's a great album cover. The artwork on both sides works. Maybe it's just me though. I'm just kind of I don't know how you say, anally retentive person, but I like to know if I'm holding something at the right side up or upside down. That's one thing. I'm holding this one right side up, clearly. This is a Polka album, and I think the name of it is, because it's, aside from Polka, it just says this 40, 20, 35, which I'm not exactly sure what that's referring to. It might be some kind of accordion timing jargon from musicians. I'm not sure. But I love her with her little scarf. And I often wondered, if you were looking for this album in a record shop, do you say, like, I'm looking for 40, 20, 35? Or would they, is that the title is what I mean? You just don't know. But isn't that terrific? It's polka music. So anyways, that's it for this discussion on album covers. I'm going to do another one because I've got so many do's and don'ts on album covers, and I'm such a fan of vinyl music, collecting vinyl music, and the artwork that goes along with that. See you next time.